Hey guys, welcome to another episode of DJ's Garage. I know in the last episode I was talking about the WR250F, not R, and I was going to do a video series on it and basically video the entire rebuilding process and go through everything step by step. But I realized that I was missing so many little parts that the videos would have been so choppy and so scattered out just because as I was putting things together, I would realize that I was missing this part or that part, and then I would order them and then have to wait for them to come in before I could finish what I was doing. So, I kind of didn't really video the entire engine rebuild process. I did finally get all the parts in over time, and I do have the engine together. I think I have everything that I need to put the bike the rest of the way back together. I know I have enough parts together that we can hear it run. We can get the engine in the bike, fill it up with oil, fill it up with coolant, and hear it run for the first time, which is pretty exciting. I mean, that's kind of what this was about, a rebuild process, and then the first run, and then even a first ride. I still haven't gotten a GoPro or anything like that, so video quality is probably not going to be that good. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to try to make it something that it's not, because all the videos that I do are recorded on my cell phone. So, as long as the camera isn't moving, the video quality is alright, but once you start getting some vibration and some speed, the video quality is going to go to crap. So, we'll try it. If the video quality is too terrible that I can't edit it and make something decent out of it, then I'll try something else. But, regardless, I will put a video out on the first ride for this bike, because there's only ever one first ride. So regardless of the video quality, it's going to go out there. Just because I can't do it again. The first ride is the first ride. And I'm not going to lie to you and be like, yeah, this is the first ride, even though it's not. The first ride is going to be the first ride. That's what it is. So, with all that being said, here's the current state of the bike. You can see the engine, ooh, giant finger right there. It is completely assembled. It is ready to rock and roll. I think. It's got a brand new top end in it, brand new timing chain. I don't think the cams were new. I think they were the cams for the bike that came with the bike. But there was no wear on them. I mean, they looked great. So I made sure everything was in time, put the top end together. I also put the clutches in. I knew I said that would be the next video, but I realized that I was missing quite a bit. The only thing I had was new clutches and the clutch basket and the pressure plate. But that was it. I didn't have the push rod that runs from the bracket that rolls around whenever you pull the clutch lever. Basically, that's on the stator or generator, whatever you want to call it, side of the bottom end, and then there's a rod that runs all the way through the bottom end and comes out through the clutch side of the bottom end. Well, there's supposed to be a rod in there, and then a little ball bearing, and then the what would you call that? I'm not sure what the technical name for that part is, but it's just a little rod with what looks like a washer about that big around that sits against your pressure plate, and whenever you hit your clutch lever, it turns that bracket, which pushes the rod through the bottom end and then engages it would disengage the pressure plate on the clutches and release the clutches so that you could either shift gears or put it in neutral or just coast. Well, I was missing all of that, so I didn't want to make a video and be like, okay, so this is how it all goes together, this is how it works, and not have the parts and lie to you. So in a way, I feel like I did the right thing, but after I got the parts, I still should have videoed it. I'm well aware of that. But I've been working on this bike after work every day of the week. And after work is, for me, it's around 12:30, midnight 30 when I get home till 1 o'clock a.m. So I work on the bike for about an hour after work, after I get home. And then I get cleaned up and I go to bed, and I get up and I put my older two boys on the bus, and then roughly around 7:30, 8 o'clock, my youngest son wakes up. I feed him breakfast, and then we just hang out until I have to take him to the babysitter and go to work. So it's very difficult for me to make videos through the week right now because of the way my schedule is. So bear with me. I know it's been a while since I put a video out, but it's getting warm outside. It's nice outside. I've been spending time with my boys because that's what life's about. I enjoy spending time with my kids. That's my pastime. That's something that I enjoy to do. This is also something that I enjoy to do, but this will be here. My kids are going to grow up and start their lives. I want to be a part of their lives while I can. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm going to spend as much time as I can with my kids while I can. So anyway, I know that was kind of a ramble, but I wanted to put that out there so you guys understood. Like I'm doing it on my free time, so I don't have a whole lot of that. I work a lot, 5 days a week. Usually put in about, including my drive, my days are anywhere from 14 to 16 hours, 5 days a week. So it doesn't really leave a whole lot of time. And on the weekends, I like to spend time with my wife when she's off work or not at school. And I like to spend time with my kids. My oldest son is starting to spark an interest in doing what I like to do, which is work on things, rebuild things. So we get to spend more time together than I do with my younger and youngest son, because they're still young and they don't really find this interesting or fun. They just want to go out and play in the dirt like a normal young boy would want to do, which is great. I mean, I'm not going to knock that at all. But it cuts into the time that I have to work on stuff. And I'm going to let it cut into the time that I have to work on stuff, because I feel like as a young child, playing in the dirt is going to build character. I know working is also going to build character. Doing things that you don't really want to do, but you know you have to do it, is also going to build character. But what I do with bikes, cars, anything really, isn't that important. It's just fun to me, so I do it. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not going to build character for them, not at this age. They don't know the difference between a regular wrench and a ratchet wrench. They don't care. They're not at that age that means anything to them. So I let them be kids. I let them play. I let them do what they find interesting. I want them to use their imagination, go play out in the dirt, build a dirt castle, mud pie, whatever. That's what I did as a kid, and I loved it. Why would I not let them do it? Anyway, I'm starting to ramble, starting to get way off track. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the carburetor off, take this crappy radiator off because it's got a giant dent in it. I also have already put front wheel bearings in this front tire. There's no wobble in it anymore. Bearings don't sound like they're about to grind apart when you roll the tire. So I'm not sure how that happened. I haven't even touched anything yet except the carburetor, but that was with this hand. How did that happen? That. How long has that been there? Why didn't you tell me? Anyway, so we're going to get all this stuff off, get that in there, hook up the oil lines, rebuild this carburetor, put the carburetor on it, change the radiators, I've also already ordered the air cleaner. It's not here yet, so I'll probably just put a sock over it so I can hear it run. And go from there. We'll find out if we're missing anything else. But yeah, so let's get after it. I usually already have all the tools laid out that I need, but I just got off work and I don't have the tools that I need laid out. So we'll just have to cut out the wasted time looking for the tools that I need. I think it's a 5mm. That's definitely not a 5mm. That's probably like a 4-3. Let's try 4. Nope, definitely a 3. 3mm Allen or hex key, by the way, if you guys were curious. To take the cover off, to take the throttle cable off. Throttle cables. It's got 2 cables on it. Let me roll you guys around here so you can see what I see. This cover right here, this bolt is in there. So remove this bolt. Should give you access to what is underneath this cover. Then you need to take this nut and this nut loose so that you can pull the cable locks out, and then you can get the cables out, which will then release the carburetor from the bike. So that's what we're going to do. Let's try 10mm. Beautiful. We don't like it when it does that. Is my arm all up in your way? Yell at me if it's in the way, I'll move it. Trying to catch this nut all weird like with this wrench so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, so, oh man, hate it when that happens. So, remove that one, and then we can roll it around, which will give us more slack in the cable. Take that one loose. Now the carburetor is free from the bike. So, now that that's out of the way, I can bring you guys back up to eye level, which in reality isn't that high. So, carburetor's off the bike. What we're going to do, now let's see how well you guys can see this. The slide moves freely, so probably all we're going to do is just clean that up. Wow, this is really difficult trying to get the orientation right so you guys can see. So the slide moves great. What we're going to do, take the bolt off. That way we can get in there to all the jets, make sure the jets are cleaned. There's this bike sat for a few years, so if there was any gas in this bowl, it's definitely not gas anymore. It's whatever gas turns into when it dies. It's probably some kind of liquid sludge. But everything's free, so I don't think it's that bad. But it is good practice to pull your jets when you have a bike that sat for as long as this one did. Just because if your jets are clogged, it's not going to get any fuel. It's not going to run. It's just going to be a giant paperweight. So we're going to clean this. We're going to clean it. And plug that engine in. Get it in here. Get it bolted up. And start putting everything else back together. And get this rebuilt. Get it on there. And then tomorrow, we'll do a first start. Guess. Throw out a guess on how many kicks you think it's going to take for it to start. I am going to cheat a little bit. I am, the way these carburetors work, if I'm not mistaken, is whenever you give it throttle, it gives an initial squirt. Like it actually sprays fuel. Because it has electrics hooked up to it. It's pretty advanced for how old this bike is. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but it's a 2002. It's a good thing we got new radiators, because that is not good. That is whatever antifreeze turns into when it dies. Also, you'll get to watch me change out the front tire on this bike, because the old one's still on there, and there's that didn't help at all. Let's turn it this way. There we go. I about smacked myself in the face with the handlebar because I was looking down there when I was turning this, and it brushed my nose. That would hurt. So, anyway, we'll change that before, well, maybe not before the first ride, because the first ride isn't going to be a long one, because I was hoping that the rear wheel bearings were junk, because the back tire had quite a bit of this going on when it was turning by hand. It's not the bearings. I pulled the bearings out, cleaned them up, re-greased them, packed them, made sure everything was good, put the new axle in it, and that is when I realized that the wheel was bent. Now let's see if we can get you guys a view of how bent this wheel is. Yeah, you can see it. See how it goes? That's not going to be fun going down the road. Yeah, you can see it really good now. That's not going to be fun. It's going to be detrimental. It's going to wear the tire very badly. It's also going to be very not comfortable. It's going to wobble a lot, and it just doesn't seem very pleasant. So I'm going to find a new rear wheel. Let me show you the engine. Got the all balls wheel bearings. Focus. The all balls wheel bearings for the front wheel. But yeah, so we got the new wheel bearings in the front tire. It's good. It's gravy. What I was missing was the Kickstarter. I had one, but it was definitely the wrong one. I was missing these oil lines right here. I already went over the clutch assembly that I was missing. I was missing the chain guard. I was missing an oil filter and a very large amount of bolts for everything. I didn't have bolts, so I had to get bolts. trying to think of what else I was missing. Air filter. I was missing an air filter. I was missing the oil lines that go from the frame to the engine. We'll get to that here in a little bit. I'll show you which one I was missing. Off the top of my head, that's all I remember that I was missing. So, I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of stuff, but it was enough that everything that needed done on this bike couldn't really get done because I needed a part of some kind every time. But it'll do what I want it to do, which is run and ride for the summer. Why is it so blurry? Focus. Focus. Now focus on this. Thank you. So, we are also missing one of the studs for the exhaust. We have one, but we don't have the other one, which isn't that big a deal. I've got studs all over the place. I mean, heck, if anything, we could just run a bolt in there as a 4 now, just to get a first start and a first run. I do plan on pulling the engine again this fall during the off season when it's all snowy and too cold to ride. And I want to repaint the frame. I'll probably, most likely, it's a very large guarantee that I will get new handlebars, new grips, new levers. I do have a leaky fork. One of the forks does leak, or did leak, just because there is oil on the fork tube itself. So, fork seals are in the near future. For a first start and a first run, well, for a first start, I'm not even going to have the chain on it. But just in case something's wrong with the clutches and they're locked together, I don't want it to try to take off. Or just not be able to start it at all because it's trying to turn the tire as well. So the chain's not going to be on it during the first start. Once we hear it run and we know it's running well and there's no chatter anywhere or any garbage going on, then we'll go from there and put the chain on it, go for a first ride. It's not going to be a very long first ride. It's probably just going to be down my street and back, just because of this rear wheel. But those are super quick and easy to change. Let's get everything out of the way, get this engine and that bike, start buttoning up electrical, oil lines, water lines. Well, we can't do water lines because we got to put the radiators in, but I don't want to put the new radiators in until the engine is in, so that way I don't have anything beaten up against them because they're brand new and I don't want anything to happen to them. So this was the new clutches. This is the package that they came in. It is ideal to soak your clutches in oil. Well, actually, it's not really ideal. You should. There's no ideal about it. Scratch that, I even said that. You should soak your clutches in the oil that you're going to use in your engine before you put them in. And they come with a bowl that fits them perfectly. So why not use this? Quick tip for you guys, if you plan on changing your clutches. Just use the package that they come in as the bowl. Just open up the back of it, pour the oil in there, let them sit. It's really quick, really easy. It's not hard to do. Also, we did put a Wiseco top end in it. Wiseco is the bomb. They are the bee's knees. We like Wiseco. They should be a sponsor. Wiseco. Anybody that works at Wiseco, if you see my video and you feel like I'm a cool guy and you want to hook me up, I'm game for that. I could live with that. You could sponsor me. Don't give me any money though. I don't want money. I want parts. Parts mean more to me than money. Because if you give me money, I'm just going to buy parts. So, alright. Why is that? backwards. I'm going to take the metal oil lines out of the way just so we don't bend them up. And I don't have a Phillips head screwdriver, so we will need to sort out this plug-in because there are several wires that have been cut, and I don't know why. So there will be some wiring. That seems to be one of the things that occurs a lot with everything that I buy. People chop up wires for some ungodly reason. I don't think I'll ever figure it out. I don't know if there's any oil in here, so we probably leak some, but I doubt it because, I mean, it's an open oil line. Nope, I'll just set that not in there, but up there. Why is that turned that way? I don't like it being that way. Dang it. This is actually the oil line that I had to buy for this bike because I did not have it. This one. I did not have this oil line. It's just a return line because it runs from the top of the reservoir down to the bottom of the engine. And this one runs from the bottom of the oil reservoir to the bottom of the engine, which makes me think that it is the actual feed line. It's the one that feeds oil to the engine, and this one just returns it from the engine. I want to take this radiator off so I can get to the throttle. 8 mil. So, junk radiator, massive dent. I'm not even 100% sure how you do that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a tree, small tree. I need a workbench in a bad way. So let's go get the engine, and we will put the engine on said bike. Everything out of the way. We need to figure out a way to hold the rear tire up, because by design the engine rear mount just so happens to also be right here is the swing arm bolt. Holds all of this on this. This has to come out and then go through the same place and the engine. So we need to find a way to hold this up. We need something. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the coyotes outside are trying to ruin my video because they won't shut up. They're about to get kicked. Actually, I'm not going to go out there and try to kick some coyotes. I'll probably get eaten. But it sounds good. So, this is what we have. Now, there's about an inch there, but, well, that was bad. That's more than an inch, but it's not going to fall very far, and it'll be easier to get the bolt back in it, if we can even get it out. There's probably a preload on it because the shock is not unbolted. Is it moving? Can you tell? Is it moving? Let me know. Yeah, it's moving. Thanks. Now let's see if we can try to thread that out of there a little bit. Now this is a 100% theory because I'm not sure, but I don't think it'll fall out or fall off because the upper shock mount and the lower shock mount are still together, so that should hold it, but it will flop. So if it falls too far, this is just kind of balancing on my little work sawhorse bench thing. So if we throw the weight off too much and the front end becomes too heavy, it's just gonna whoop, flip off of here, which is not gonna be fun. Almost. Let me take you guys out here for a second. Okay, so what needs to happen is this needs to go back all the way in here, just like this one is. It's flush. So we'll pack that one back in and then not drop that piece on the ground. What we're going to do is clean this up, re-grease it, grease everything that we can get to here, grease the inside and outside of this. I don't really know if it needs greased on the outside, but I'll probably do it anyway, just because it feels right. Look at all this sweat. It's hot. It's hot. It's 1:15 in the morning and it's hot. We got those installed. Now let's grab our engine and we will get our engine in there.